Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers, welcome. So today's video is all about understanding the high value woman importance of always putting yourself first and putting yourself first unapologetically and without guilt. Now, I posted about the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez domestic violence situation on Instagram over at Hypergamous Hive. But for those of you who need a bit of a backstory, WAP star, Houston hottie, and rap superstar Megan Thee Stallion has finally addressed the very specific allegations of the person who shot her in both of her feet. And to clear up any of the speculation and the confusion and the lies that have either been put out by Tory Lanez and his PR camp or by the chatty patty boys and girls on the internet who have engineered rumors and lies and chaos by accusing Megan Thee Stallion of faking her injuries for clout and of deliberately trying to ruin the career of the reject Keebler elf himself, otherwise known as Tory Lanez, and his future plans in music. And to that I say, the minute that this insecure 3-foot runt decided to pull out a gun as a solution in order to soothe his insecurities and his jealousy and his rage and his out of control miniature ego, is the minute that Tory Lanez decided to cancel himself. So ladies and lurkers, Mr. Napoleon Lane is 100% responsible for butchering his own career and causing his own demise. But what I really wanted to discuss in this video is Megan Thee Stallion's open admission to wanting to protect a man who intentionally shot her and who potentially could have maimed her and ended her life, which is a very troubling low-value mindset to have and a very low-value woman stance to take, particularly because the runt who shot her is not even behind bars. And the cautionary tale to learn here is that as a woman, you must always do the necessary groundwork of seeing yourself as the prize, and that you are not obligated to value anyone over yourself, and you are not obligated to protect a man who willfully and intentionally tried to hurt you with bullets, or a man who feels entitled to control or to harness or to abuse you. And Megan's decision to protect Tory Lanez comes from a deep historical and conditioned narrative, particularly with Black women, that Black men are deserving of protection, often at a Black woman's expense. And this disempowering generational curse and thought process and this wholesale damaging narrative is what often causes women, particularly Black women, to by any means necessary make men the prize and to lowball themselves with the low value vibrations of guilt and obligation. And it conditions Black men, and this means some Black men, not all Black men, to see themselves as perpetual victims to be handled with kid gloves, rather than as grown men who need to hold themselves accountable for being violent and insecure and for being a lowlife and for feeling inadequate and for being toxic and for being abusive and for not cherishing or valuing themselves and consequently the women who trust them. And I've always stated this on my channel, but a man will always, particularly if he has not hypergamously invested, he will always put his ego and his needs before any woman, because men are wired, and I want you to listen carefully. They are wired to see women as disposable. And because women are not taught this very simple and uncomplicated truth, most women are inclined to believe that the more that they give, that the more that they protect, and that the more that they treat men like babies and toddlers and sons, that a man will give them the reward of loyalty, when nothing could be further from the truth, as it will always be in a man's nature to be loyal to himself. And this is true for all races of men. And that is why it is so necessary for women to have a high value mindset when it comes to men, because a man will walk all over you, no matter the race, if you allow it. And another problematic issue that I wanted to touch upon is how there will always be a contingent of dust bunny women who will always practice the internalized misogyny of girl on girl crime by blaming women for the violent actions of men. And we've seen this happen repeatedly with Mr. R. Kelly and Sheck West and Christopher Brown and Tory Lanez and countless other men. And for those of you who don't know what internalized misogyny means, Internalized misogyny is when a woman uses the low value messages and the teachings of misogynistic men to soothe and validate her belief and her ego that she is better looking, smarter, more loyal, more supportive than other women. And women who internalize misogyny are often victim shamers and victim blamers, and they are generally pretty harsh on other women in a way that they wouldn't be towards men. And internalized misogyny also happens because many women, in their unchecked desire to have more masculine energy in their lives, whether they are missing father figures and husbands or a brother or a protector, are often more willing to overlook the toxicity and the wholesale dysfunction of certain men to soothe their loneliness and their isolation and their lack of a strong male figure in their personal lives. So typically the women seek very arrogant and braggadocious men and jerks and famous men and talented men and douchebags and blabbermouths because topically and on the surface, these are the men who appear on the outside to be very confident and powerful and therefore very desirable to dust bunny women and women with dust bunny tendencies. And this is the main reason why a man like R. Kelly will still get a 2020 pass and beyond from mainly black women who still to this very day will continue to support this man and his music, even though this very, very sick man is a proven abuser and manipulator of teenage girls. And unfortunately, there are a lot of women who will get their rocks off and their self-esteem from seeing men drag, humiliate, bash, and ostracize women, especially if these men appear to be confident and successful, which makes internalized misogyny a very distinct form of girl-on-girl violence. Now, do women lie? Absolutely. But Megan Thee Stallion has never had a reason to lie about getting shot, and she definitely did not do anything to deserve being harmed by shortstop Tory. And anyone who is trying to justify Megan Thee Stallion being shot with victim-blaming excuses is a person who needs to have their head examined. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. Megan Thee Stallion is not obligated to protect anyone who intentionally tried to harm her because when it is all said and done, a man's job, whether he is your husband, your father, or a father figure, is to respect, to protect, to value, and to cherish you. So ladies and lurkers, now it's your turn. Is Megan Thee Stallion a snitch for finally telling her side of the story? And why do women protect men who clearly violate and harm other women? And should Megan Thee Stallion use her power to put pint-sized Tory under a prison cell? And are women who openly support abusers repulsive? Discuss your thoughts and your opinions below, and stay tuned for more feminine content to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and you lurkers in the next one.